nicest guy. I am gonna win the award for I made people fucking rich, and you guys can just use your money to send me hate mail if you want. All right, because then you'll be rich enough to have a hate mail guy. All right, and then that's what you guys can do with your monies. But get rich first. I've been saying this since day one. I'm a dickhead, but because I care, right? People be like, "Oh, Royce, there's just he's very aggressive in the morning." It's like, because I care. And like I said, you can go buy a house on the side of a mountain in Peru just like me, and then you guys can fucking never have to hear my voice again, but only because you got rich. Okay? Now, the number one rule is always never try to outsmart the market. Okay, there's days where I show up and not because I don't understand what's happening, but my head's just not in the right space. I can't tell up from down. And so the only thing that we can do is stay away. And that's harder than figuring out what happened. Let me repeat that. Seeing and let's say acknowledging that you don't understand what's happening on the charts and staying out of the markets is harder than figuring out what went wrong. Because the analyst, okay, it's the mindset. The mindset of an analyst is let me go figure out what I could have done different or what I could have done better. You got to do that as well. But the real question is, wasn't 100% clear? Now, really, Christine, answer me one quick question. Did you manage your risk?
Hell no.
I was about to give you the credit. I was gonna say, all right, as long as you manage your risk, we're moving on from the conversation. So that's the only thing you did wrong. Losses are gonna happen. Suck it up. But if you didn't manage your risk, it does hurt more than it should. It's always gonna feel like, it's always gonna feel like it was way worse than it actually was. I always tell people, do you care about failing in trading? They'll be like, yeah, of course I do, bro. My family, my friends, everybody I love, they're counting on me to win, all this stuff. I'm like, okay. If you could lose without anyone finding out, would you? Like, would you care as much as you do now? Most of the time, the answer is no. So we don't actually care, but we care what other people think. And that's a problem. When it comes to actually executing, sometimes we can't listen to ourselves and do the right thing and stay away. A lot of trading really is just doing the right thing, which is the obvious thing, right? The obvious thing and it's not always the easy thing. Said honesty though, love it, Christine. I mean, let's be real. Like we have to be honest so we can actually get to the next step. And Christine, I just want to give you everybody put W Christine in the chat because to be able to put yourself out there and to be able to actually tell folks honestly what you did and what you didn't do and get the feedback, especially from a dickhead like myself, that takes courage. And so I want to applaud you, Christine, and hopefully that sets an example for everybody else to do the same thing. Like just if we have an honest conversation, guess what? Christine, do you feel like you're going to make some progress off this little talk today?
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Come on now. And hopefully a lot of other people that didn't have the cojones to speak up felt were in the same exact shoes as you, Christine, and they appreciate you more than you know because you just spoke up for the squad, and some folks are going to get to learn from that. So absolutely incredible. That's the chart addicts way, people. It's how we do it. Okay. So we have a scalp right here. Now, people, if there's anything I know about markets, do I expect Model 1? After everything I just told you, am I really looking for a Model 1? No, at least not in terms of the full trend of the day. What is this? Third grade? Can we get a nice little scalp though? 1.5 to 1 R? I think so. I think that we see a little bit of a push above the one, break back to the 8, hit TP2, and then come back down to oh my. Members, can we just appreciate this for a sec? I know this is about as messy as it's gonna get. Can we appreciate something for a sec? Look at this. This is why I love math. This is why I love Fibonacci's, and this is why price is fractal. Now, I told you guys here's where I'm looking to take the next buy entry, right? So we have a huge area of support right here. Every time the market gets to this area, rejections, massive rejection, and I'm looking for that spot again, 18,680 on the Owanda chart. Now, Ain't it beautiful when the math just lines up? Watch this. Okay. Boom. Got that spot right here. Go ahead and mark that off. Beautiful. Get down to the one. Hit the super secret indicator. Find the Asia low of today. Go ahead and mark that off. Find the model one entry, right? Just nothing but a cute little model one, right? Nothing but a model one, innocent. What's the big deal, right? What's the big deal? Let's look at the 1886 extension. Hold on, is it right at that same level that we just marked off? You're telling me the final TP5 extension of this trade is right at the same level as that continuation model 2? Huh. So anyways, scalp right here. Here's the most recent breaker. So that's model 2, and that's model 3. People, does that make sense? Put a one in the chat if that makes sense. Not you YouTube folks. I'm talking about the Chartix members. Does this make sense? Model 1, model 2, and model 3, right at that double trouble zone. If I just told you guys multiple confluence, would you guys buy the course instead? Would that make you feel better? Oh, there's multiple confluence there. What do you want? Right? I'll spell it out to you in whatever language y'all need me to. I'll speak Mandarin. Got to get put on blast from Roy. It's a rite of passage. But if you're not getting put on blast, it means you're not really putting yourself out there and you're not being honest. And so the ones who've gotten put on blast, Bobby, is Bobby on here? Dude, Bobby is one of those stories, man. I used to put Bobby on blast because he was a great trader. He was literally catching direction. The directional bias was straight. It was his execution was always early. We had one call where I was like, Bobby, bro, why are you entering early? And I'm pretty sure I went on this thing for like 15 minutes. You guys know what happened? Most sickening thing happened. Bobby started getting better entries than me. Okay. We get on a call where we're on these live streams just like we are now. And I tell everybody, yell out your entry, right? Type out your entry if you took this trade. And Bobby's catching a better entry than everybody every morning. And then we get on a coaching call and I'm like, no, 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 bro. I think you're bullshitting me. You gotta send me put up the screenshot of your trade results because I gotta see if these entries are actually where you say they are. All of them were better than mine. We're going trade for trade, band for band, M for M. And he has better. And I realized, I said, Bobby, what were you doing? He said, oh, I was just waiting. No, I can't even tell you guys that secret. Members, you know exactly what I'm about to say. Let me see if I can even stop the stream on YouTube. No, I can't. Anyways, but basically he was waiting for your boy to get in some little drawdown and entering at a better level. And that's where I actually refined the 88. That's where I refined the entire NASDAQ masterclass strategy off of those entries. That's where I started scaling in 1, 2, and 3. So shout out to Bobby for, yeah, Bobby says he's on here. Yeah, he is. Bobby, tell me you remember this shit, man. I felt so bad. I was like, yo, maybe I shouldn't have gone that hard on Bobby. And then you started getting better entries than me. I'm like, fuck Bobby, bro. I should have gone harder, bro. Where's the signals? And this is just the way things go. The student becomes the teacher. It's the way that life goes. He said, nah, bro, I'll never forget that moment. I want that pep talk. My biggest problem is entering early. Devaney, well, you're gonna get into the master class. You're gonna get a pep talk or two. When you use the fib, do you measure wicks of the body? Oh, Nyla, God bless your heart. Ask about the body to, oh, what's your strategy exactly? Tabo, you understand that multiple confluence, man. I'm on a roll today. Let's go around. I know the world's falling apart, but look outside. Is it really? Okay, let's talk about the last 3 days because your boy was absent and missing. So we had a very eventful week when it comes to data releases. Let's go ahead and take a look at Forex Factory. First, we had PPI come out on Tuesday. PPI is the producer price index and inflation measure of how much producers are paying to manufacture our goods. There was no change in core PPI, which I feel like, or I believe excludes automobiles. Oh no, food and energy, funny enough. And then we had a slight increase in just core PPI, or not core PPI, in headline PPI, which includes food and energy. So the cost of labor went up about 0.1%. So if this is without food and labor, or sorry, food and energy costs Input costs seem to have gone up. And then let's take a look at inflation. Oh my God. Dude, if only the CPI numbers that the government put out were accurate, because 2.9% headline CPI print on a year-by-year basis means, ladies and gentlemen, we've officially beat the boogeyman. The inflation boogeyman that started because of the overprinting of money in response to coronavirus, first by the Trump administration, but also primarily by the Bidenomics policies of continuing to introduce trillions of dollars into the economy in the midst of an inflation crisis. So the past, and this is honestly, as an economist, I'm very happy about this. Last 4 years ago, nobody knew what inflation was. I was sitting there in cafes by myself reading Goldman Sachs reports about inflation, sad, teardrop falling down my eye, just down my face, hitting the keyboard, enters a trade. Oh no, that was an accident. And now, 6 months later, and my mother is calling me, my barber. He said, "Well, what about this inflation thing? It's going crazy, right?" And so inflation had become the mainstream topic when it used to be a niche economic concept. Now, the reason that had happened is obviously we all know prices have been going up dramatically over the last 3 years, and they haven't really come down. The CPI basket is a measure that the government puts out. It's I wouldn't say it's accurate. It has been criticized for being less than accurate historically because they change the basket of goods that they track inside of the index pretty regularly, and they typically do that in order to boost and bolster a positive report so as to not scare the general public. 2.9%. Whoa, what just happened? You said, where's the camera at? Let me see. How selfish am I? You guys don't get to see this beautiful face. Yes, people, I'm still alive. Yes, I'm still in fantastic shape, probably in the best shape of my entire existence. Yes, my skin cleared up. I'm on a 4-day caffeine cleanse. Dumbest shit I've ever done. Any of your friends try to convince you, oh, I just meditate and I don't drink caffeine. Let me see their bank balance. Let me see their fucking bank balance. You understand me? Because there's something here is not adding up. But I have been doing great. I just wanted you guys to see this beautiful face. And let's go continue to talk about the data releases for today. Also, this is my scatterbrain. My editors fucking hate me because they keep trying to clip up certain segments to talk about, let's say, economic data. And then halfway through, I'm explaining in third person omniscient, me explaining the data, right? And so they don't like that. And I don't give a fuck. This is the way I talk, people. This is what we signed up for. You're going to get the best quality information here. I'm going to give you not just the narratives that the mainstream media is pushing towards these data releases, i.e., CPI is getting better, which is a lie. We call this the CP lie. Okay? Write that down in your notes. Where are you going to find where are you going to find somebody that's actually going to break down the CPI number, but also kind of give you that fourth dimension, letting you know that the government fudges these numbers so they can bolster their own reputation because we're in the middle of an election year. You don't get that somewhere else. So, with that being said, thank you guys for bearing with me. Let's go into the rest of the data releases here and see what we can find. I feel like I'm going to find some Easter eggs in here. 2.9% is insane. If we're going to look at the trajectory of how inflation's been moving, we had a 3.2% print, which was the closest that we had come to the soft landing. So just as a reminder, the soft landing is this entire concept of being able to bring down inflation without ruining the economy and without hurting employment. So Jerome Powell's basically been trying to this is do the impossible. It's take all the money out the economy to try to bring down inflation and then basically make it impossible for businesses and individuals to borrow because none of us are getting houses, cars, starting new businesses, investing in R&D right now because the interest rates are so high. And then nothing breaks. Like everyone keeps saying we're in a recession, but like we're not. Okay? We're in an inflation crisis still. There's been some stagnation, which means the economy's flat, but we're not dealing with the same problems that we were before. Okay? All right. Um, So 2.9% kind of cap. We came very close uh to the soft landing scenario. Then in April we had a massive jump after we had a very terrible Q1 GDP print. Prices were still going up. This was some seasonality here, but then we started to inch lower, 3.4, then 3.3, and then July was the shocker. In a month over month basis, we dropped down to 3%, and now we're now sub 3%. What does this mean? Fed will cut rates next month. People, I have my alerts. Don't worry. Think I'm out here yapping. Then I'm out here just yapping away, and we don't have our eye on the ball. We don't have our ear to the streets. I got the alerts. Don't you worry. All right. So we got 2.9%. Um, if that's not bullish, I don't know what is. Now let's talk about why that's bullish. Typically, when the Fed cuts rates, you'll see bearish market reaction in the immediate 2 months. Okay. That's opposite of what I talk about in the big picture. Whenever I say what the trigger is for when we know that stocks are going to boom, it's the Fed starting to cut rates, the rate cutting cycle. The easing of monetary policy is one of the biggest drivers of liquidity. Liquidity is how much money is flowing through the system. Flowing through the system, liquidity, eh? Right? Easy way to think about it. How much money sloshing around? Is it moving? If it's a solid state, the money's locked up in certain places. If it's a very liquid market, that means money's moving around. Does that make sense? Okay, so global liquidity is the biggest driver of equity performance. And what's the biggest driver of global liquidity? It's access to money, which is interest rates and monetary policy. Easy monetary policy will lead to the biggest bull run that we've seen. So this next 2 years, we're going to see markets at all-time highs, including crypto markets and commodities. So there's no ors here. It's all and. Okay, which market's going to do? Is it gold or stocks? When they start printing the money, all of it goes up, i.e., 2020 and 2021. So then, why are we going to see a bearish drop? Because markets always sell the top. The Fed never cuts rates when the market's already crashing, except for in 2018. They usually cut rates when the market is a little bit too hot for its own good, but the economy is starting to fall apart. You see employment numbers starting to come out weaker. You see GDP starting to come weaker, and you see a contraction in the economy. That's when the Fed typically cuts at the top of the market. And so, wouldn't it make sense for institutions to sell the top? And then once the market panics and all the mainstream media has created a narrative of further bloodshed, just like Warren Buffett says, that's when institutions buy when there's blood in the streets, even if that blood is yours, especially if that blood is yours. Okay? So that's what we're going to do. We're going to be expecting this interest rate change. We're going to see a short-term bearish reaction as we have historically. And this kind of goes back to the point I made to Christine earlier, which is if you backtest these things and you backtest every time the Fed has cut rates, what did NASDAQ do? You're going to get your fucking answer. You don't need me to tell you. But which one of y'all is going to do that work besides Josh? Who's going to do it? Right? You'll literally see how the market reacts and then just track how long did the market go bearish after each cut. What's the average? That's how I found that the Bitcoin play that I've been telling you guys about since the halving. This entire idea of the Bitcoin halving came from studying every halving before and every halving before. Every time that there was a Bitcoin halving, 162 bars, 162 days, 140 days, 140 days. Okay. So in 140 days, which puts us at around late September here, that's when the bull run's going to start. And then by November, we're going to be back up at highs. And then by 1 year from now, we're going to be at new all-time highs. These ideas don't come from, I ain't even going to give you guys that much sauce. What am I doing? Let's take a tour around the asset classes and see what we can find here. See if there's some opportunities. Super secret magnet indicator still holding strong. Still holding strong. Well, I guess I was a little bit off about this one. Quick 61 retest. So, members, this is a continuation model happening on gold right now. I'll have to go up to the 4 hour for this. But look at this. Well, nope, those are technically equal highs. Interesting. Nope. That's why the lower time frames are so important. You guys see the body right here? Yeah, we had a clear break above the previous highs if we're going to talk bodies here. We got the body of the candle right up top. And the body of these candles is right here. So that means we technically, on a very technical level, which is what technicals are for, we did have a break above the highs. We did come back to retest that Model 2 continue or the Model 1 continuation, but the Model 2 continuation was the one. Exactly what I'm expecting here on NASDAQ, by the way. Like you guys see this clear break above. Members, put this in the chat. Put a one in the chat if you guys see this. You see this wick that got formed? This is what I'm expecting to see on NASDAQ. This exact play here to TP1. The only difference is that we haven't had a clear break above the highs just yet. So if anything, we might be in this phase right here, where the market's gonna like go sideways and then we get this whole nine, or we could just see this. Oh, that makes sense. Now, for those of you guys who don't know what the hell I'm talking about, let me put this back in plain English for you. Just strict Model 3s. Do you guys see? Members, I got to do this again. Okay. We got range right here. George, this one's for you. Breaker, bing, bing. Almost, it's a double bottom. It's pretty rough, Model 1. But you had TP1 and 2. And then Model 3 is all the way down to this previous structure. Put a one in the chat if you guys see this. Okie dokes. All right, so what's next? Inverse head and shoulders right here. In continuation, you guys can thank me later for this one. 2440, 2440, 2440, 2440. Boom. Boom. Man, come on. Y'all know you miss me. Okay. So just to kind of clear things up, PPI looking a little bit better. CPI way better than expected. This is going to be bullish until this next Fed meeting in August. In August, I'm expecting a rate cut, or sorry, in September, I mean, we're expecting a rate cut. Jerome Powell is going to hit the stage for the Jackson Hole Conference in about a week and a half, where he's basically going to prep the markets for the rate cut. And I believe that we're going to start to see the sells in advance of the rate cut, which is even better for us. That means a faster recovery. So that way, when they cut the rates, we only sell off for maybe a week and then we recover. So Jackson Hole is really going to be that sort of determining factor of, is Jerome Powell going to set the stage early, get the markets prepped, and then, then release the news? Or is he going to play it off and say everything is fine? We're probably going to be data dependent. We're not planning on cutting rates or whatever, and then just surprise the market. I don't really see the incentive of surprise anymore. And so I really hope that, Jay Powwow does the right thing and preps the market in advance so there's no adverse market reactions. This morning, about 2 hours ago, we had core retail sales come out. This is excluding automobiles. And so sales, except for car sales, it was up pretty good. And then retail sales in general, including automobile sales, was up dramatically. So it looks like automobile sales was a pretty big driving factor here in overall activity. If you guys can see here, retail sales last release came out negative, which means that we had a contraction in economic activity. Then we had the expectation here of some positive numbers, and we have absolutely smashed expectations, which again is going to fuel further upside action for NASDAQ. And the rest, well, I mean, NASDAQ's a few steps ahead of us. So the indices are going to be rebounding off of this news. Weekly unemployment claims went down just slightly from last week and came out lower than expectations. That's pretty good. And the Empire State Manufacturing Index also came out positive. Not a lot of manufacturing happening there. Philly Manufacturing Index came out negative. That's why you can't trust the indices, because Philly, New York, both banks are looking at their regional manufacturers. They put out like a sentiment survey, and they kind of get they get like not enough businesses giving feedback, and then they just basically build this index on sentiment that's just inaccurate. So don't really care much for the manufacturing indices. Tomorrow we have prelim consumer sentiment. That is the least of our worries because we had the real deal today, retail sales. Retail sales at the end of the line. Who bought what? Not who, but like how many people bought stuff? Okay. Did we sell enough stuff, and did people buy enough stuff to keep the show rolling? Sentiment is more like, do we think that people are kind of thinking about maybe almost buying stuff later? Yeah. Doesn't sound like the most accurate measure. How can I learn your strategy without paying? Yo, Josh. You put your head right back in the sand where it was 5 seconds ago when you asked that question, and you listen up. Show them your trading balance. How about I show you? I can't say that. I'm not trying to get demonetized. Look, you got too many vowels in your name. All right. That's all I'm gonna say. Right? You're about 3 vowels away from being an ingredient in Gatorade. Okay. So pipe down. You understand me? What's my win rate? R&R. My win rate's about 62%. My R&R is ask your mother. All right. No, that's a joke. I'm sorry. That was unnecessary. I did mean the you're 2 syllables away from being a maltodextrin or something. Okay. Now, my R&R is about 1.3. It should be better. Let's be honest. Sometimes I'll start new challenges and the numbers are obviously skewed because I had like 7 or 8 trades that are just bangers. My R&R says 2.3 and my win rate is 79 or 84. If I had to aggregate all my results from all my accounts and like really take an accurate feel, it'd probably be about 1.2, 1.3 R and less than 65% win rate, which I'll take. You don't need more than that to make serious money. If I improve that 62% up to 65 or 68, and if I get that R&R from 1.3 up to 1.5, I'm fucking rich. And if you don't know what that math means, do some math. Gatorade, said Gatorade. You know how to have, look, Christine, this is how I shop. Okay, if you guys want to shop healthy, you guys want to eat healthy, you guys want to look like this, right? Do I show them the six pack or not? I'm not going to do it to you. It's a family-friendly channel. But here's what I will tell you is if you guys want to have a healthier and more cognitively effective life, shop on the outside of the grocery store, right? Okay, so here's what usually happens. You walk in the grocery store. Roy, I thought this was a finance channel. It's about to be. Just bear with me here. Because if you're dead or you're fat or you got heart disease or you have diabetes, it's going to affect your trading because cognitive ability is directly tied to your physical health. And so get your fucking health together or quit trading. It's one or the other. You understand? And it's like, Roy, do I really need to eat flax seeds and all this stuff to be a great trader? I know some people eating McDonald's, crushing it. I was there. Trust me, I was there. It catches up with you. Okay, so the person who can flip an account and they're eating whatever and they're just kind of staying up all night and managing these positions and doing this shit, dope until they blow it all because you can't sustain that lifestyle. So that's why we're going through this example because health is wealth. Now, when you walk into a grocery store, especially in America, you people in foreign countries have your head on straight. It's really just America that seems to want to kill its own people. So bear with me here. On the outside, you'll have your produce section. Then you'll have your bakery. And then you'll have usually meat and poultry in these sections, frozen meat aisles, and then you have dairy and the rest, and then you have more produce and kind of a produce aisle right here. Now, what do you have in the middle? Frozen foods, frozen fruits, frozen canned whatever, processed refined flour, processed refined sugar. If you hate your kids and you want them to die, General Mills cereal on aisle 5. Oh yeah, the leading cause of death in America is salt and fucking sugar, heart disease, and diabetes. But yeah, let's feed the children more diabetes. If you guys are parents out there and you're buying your kids General Mills cereals and all this shit, go look yourself in the mirror, right? And if you're not making money trading, that's why, because your head's just not on straight. You don't know what you're doing. The fuck we feeding the kids death for, right? Just go look at the stats. How the fuck is table salt and sugar killing you people? Wake up. This is just nuts to me. This is nuts. I understand genetic predispositions. Don't hit me with that shit. Most people, it's a lifestyle choice. Don't do that to me. I, hey, see y'all. So if you want to live a healthier and better, more balanced life, have more general energy, shop on the outside of the aisles. Shop on the outside of the aisles. Pretty good stuff. Now, here's another one. The reason I said all that and the reason this conversation came up is because I was joking about this individual having too many vowels in his name and sounding like an ingredient in a processed food. Because if it's got an X, Y, or a Z in the fucking ingredients, I ain't putting it in my body. If it's got an X, Y, or a Z in it, I ain't putting it in my body. Let's go ahead and play this out. Why the fuck does this thing need maltodextrin? I thought this was like a cake or something. The fuck are we doing? Why I got an X in it? Why I got yellow B5? This should sound like something that's supposed to have a radioactive label on it. If it sounds like something that they put inside of the guy from the Wolverine movie, I don't want to put that in my body. Well, the Wolverine movie, maybe I'll put that one in my body. The other stuff, I don't know. Right? So that's what I meant. So if you guys want to live a healthier life, that's what you got to do. It sucks, man. America's got the food is too good. Can I still have my strawberry milkshakes on my bulk? This is not about losing weight or gaining weight, dude. I don't give a fuck about your weight. Everyone's like, oh, I'm counting my calories. The fuck who cares about your calories, bro? I don't give a fuck how much fat you got, right? Your heart gets bigger and smaller. Your heart gets clogged, right? If your heart's clogged up, you could have a six pack and you'll still die. There's a lot of bodybuilders that die because Buddy's from the outside looking phenomenal. From the inside, Buddy's heart is also on growth hormone. You understand me? And so the enlarged heart, you're like, oh, I got a big heart. Yeah, you might get one if you eat the Five Guys too often too. You know what I'm saying? You might have a huge heart. So that's what I mean. It's not about calorie counting or looking good in your swimsuits or impressing your exes. This is about living longer and setting a good example for your kids. Your kids don't give a fuck what you say about eating your vegetables. They see what you do. They see you snacking, they're gonna snack. They're gonna be sneaking snacks in. We gotta do, man. We gotta have a better society, and it all starts with physical health because physical health is a precursor to good decisions. A lot of people put crap in their body and then just sit there and figure, well, why can't I come up with any good decisions? Because all your brain blood is in your body trying to figure out why you're trying to kill yourself. That's why. It's a fact. It's the truth. That was my way of saying no, I'm not going to show you my bank balance because financial privacy is the root of everything, and pocket watching is the root of all problems in America. Right? That's the root of all problems anywhere. Pocket watching is the number one cause of violence globally. Be like, what the fuck? I thought poverty was the cause of violence. Yeah, because you ain't read a book in your life. And so you're going to make these assumptions. Pocket watching causes most violence. Just the way it is. Pocket watching causes other problems. So you guys don't have a high profile like I do, but imagine that you're posting how much money you're making and you have family overseas, you have family everywhere, all over the world. You have friends all over the world. How do you think that's going to go? Just think about that for a second. I was like, well, you're going to get the messages every morning. I'm so happy for you. Or eventually those texts going to come in. Oh, we need a new, oh, this and that. Oh, Mr. Hotshot, big man, right? That's what you're. So this is a piece of advice to all of you, especially those of you who've kind of told your families about your journey in trading. If you haven't become successful yet, when you become successful, keep that shit to yourself. If you're already successful at trading, keep that shit to yourself. You understand? Nothing good is going to come from people knowing how much money you got. Ever. Ever. You want to flex? You want to go to a designer store and you want to pretend like you have money? And so you get ripped off. We host the world's largest trading conference. And this is on paper, the world's largest trading conference. We're going to have about 5,000 attendees out there in Dubai. And I mean it when I say this is going to be the best one yet. We're about 97 days away. You guys think I'm walking in to all these meetings wearing the most expensive stuff I have, trying to look rich, trying to let people know how much money I got so they can give us a deal? You guys think that's how I'm gonna get a deal, or I'm gonna get my head ripped off my shoulders when I walk in there? I've learned my lessons, people. Hassan said, man may tell a joke, but he'll never tell a lie. There it is. And that's why I got to joke around because Hassan, this what you got to know is if you tell the truth and it ain't funny, they gonna kill you. You understand? So if you want to tell the truth out there, people, make sure you're funny as fuck and make sure you can defend yourself. But mostly make sure you're funny. They'll let it slide if you got some humor. I'm in a trade since yesterday. He says, you're not even American. Stop Hunt. Buddy got stop hunted so many times he changed his name. Yo, son. Talk about manifesting, brother. Said, I'm not even American. More American than you, brother. I had a T-bone steak, 3 eggs, and some bacon this morning. All right. Looked at a beautiful woman. I said, good morning, little lady. Walked back inside. I'm about as American as it can get. I woke up this morning, looked myself in the mirror. I said, oh my God. I, I pissed excellence. All right. More American than you'll ever be. They did an x-ray on me 3 weeks ago. Went to the doctor, said, something's wrong with me, doc. Something's wrong with me, doc. They went and did an MRI, pulled up the chart. They said, we can't believe it. I said, doc, what is it? They said, it's an American eagle. It's a bald eagle. And that's all it was, right on the inside, right in my heart, where my heart was supposed to be. Just a bald eagle spread up like the seal, telling me I'm not American. You're off your rocker. This man's done off his biscuit. But I got a permanent membership at Cracker Barrel. You're telling me I'm not American? You are out of your fucking mind. That's nuts. Insane. That's crazy. Like you guys see this stuff, they just say anything online, you know? They just say anything online. People always asking me, Roy, why did you guys close up the VIP membership? People want to get in. Roy, you guys should have a paid plan. You guys should have a paid plan. Y'all think I'm gonna want comments like this all day in the chat? This is fun for about an hour and a half in the mornings. People, I know I'm a funny dude and ha ha whoop, whoop. Y'all do not want to see me when I'm in work mode. You guys think that I'm getting all these things done, hosting the world's largest conference, being this goofball all day? You'd be kind of right. But no, no, it's a very different vibe when I'm in work mode, when I'm about to get back. This is my solitude away from actually doing real work. Trading to me is not real work anymore. I love this shit. I love the pressure. This is like fucking falling. This is like jumping out of a plane. I live for this. Do y'all think I want to be dealing with the YouTube style comments all day in the group chats? Or do I want to go in here and see the trades that y'all have put up and go Christmas shopping for all the best markups and just take these trades and win? Which one do you guys think I'd rather be doing? I need my Chart Addicts t-shirts. Alfonso, Max, ship the shirts. So I want that pep talk. Okay. So you're not even American. Bro, I need more roast though. Like, not gonna lie, for the 1.5 hours that it does show up, it's pretty fucking fun. It's pretty fun. Can you guys just throw out more roast? No, not like real roast. Diverso, are you on here, bro? Diverso is definitely not on here. I'm having a wholesome meetup yesterday. My family's in town. My aunt came into town. My cousin's there, his fiance. They made charcuterie, right? You guys know me. Love a good charcuterie board. Never gonna say no. All types of apricot jams and almonds and all types of prosciuttos and shit. I love it. Live for it. We took a wholesome family picture. Wholesome family picture. I'm out here smiling, having a great time. I had a text from two of my team members, put me in a group chat. Yo, why does Buddy got the fluoride stare? I zoom into the picture. They caught me with one of my eyes open, one of my eyes closed. The guy, I had the Katy Perry from that one joint. I had the Katy Perry going on. And I was like, I'm looking at the text and I'm like, bro, I pay these people for this. And they said the fluoride stare, and I just sat and ruined my night. Anthony, if you're listening to this, that was fucked up. That was a wholesome moment that you guys ruined. And so, yeah, long story short, like if you're gonna roast, it's gotta be funny, just like the fluoride stare joke from yesterday. If you got a joke for me, it's gotta be true. That's how you hit below the belt. If you guys have some whack ass generic shit, you're not even American. Butter, butter, butter. Okay. Now, there's too much nonsense for the last 10 minutes, so let me kind of balance that out with some sort of value, right? Is Bitcoin going to recover right now? No. So let's go ahead and take a look at Bitcoin's chart right here. We're going to have a temporary recovery, right? We're going to probably come back up to about the 60,000s, which we're pretty close to now. But I believe we're due for the next continuation to the downside. And my downside targets are going to be 30,000 and 40,000. 40,000 is going to come first, obviously. If the Fed cutting cycle is ahead of schedule and the markets are recovering because of, let's just say, like they've already expected all this thing, they've already prepped in advance, and we have a faster recovery, we could see the recovery as early as October. We could see the recovery as early as late September. Okay, but I want to say October just to be sure here. And November, certainly we'll have the crypto recovery. Does that mean we're going to hit all-time highs in November? No. Typically 12 months after the halving, so next April is when we're going to have full all-time highs. And I'm expecting the 100K price by April 2025. Write that one in your notes so that when you guys are like, dude, there was this one guy who used to just talk way too much in the mornings and I don't even know what he was saying. At least you will then realize in the future that I was right. April 2025, Bitcoin 100K. Or at least 85K. Like we're going to be breaking the highs and we're already going to be far from these recent highs. I want to say 100K just because that there's no reason why we don't hit 100K this next cycle with the amount of money on the sidelines. But again, you know, I'll take 85K. Still waiting, still waiting. I have an alert right here at 19,300. 1 second, y'all. Did we get caffeine? Yo, yo, Joe. Oh, give me a sec. People, let me go see if we got some caffeine. This 4-day caffeine detox was stupid. Okay. Don't ever do it. I'll be back in just 2 seconds. We'll finish up some news here. Actually, we were already done with the data releases. What we'll do is we'll go through some global news, talk about the Jackson Hole conference in a week and a half, what Jerome Powell is likely to say. Um, oh, Elon Musk and Trump had a sit down and my Wi-Fi bugged out and I couldn't even stream it. That was probably the most upsetting thing that's happened to me since we started this channel, is I had never been more excited for a conversation than the one with Elon and Trump, and it was okay, but I really wanted to stream and do some commentary. Maybe we'll find like a few big chops on YouTube and see if we can do some live commentary. But let me know in the comments, what was your biggest takeaway from that convo? Because I feel like that convo has a bigger impact on democracy than the election would. Funny enough. All right, I'll be back in just 2 seconds with some caffeine. Let me know your biggest takeaways from the Trump and Elon conversation below. Okay, we're back. I appreciate you guys' patience. Let's see. If we could do a review stream, key points and how markets could be affected by those points or whatever was discussed. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Mass media just dissing the whole stream negatively, posting about stream issues, and the EU threatening Elon about streaming for misinformation. Yeah, if you guys want to know the most corrupt places in the world, just look at who is against free speech. Okay. I know this has become like I hate that these topics become overplayed because everyone's like, oh, here we go about free speech and shit, free speech, free speech. It's like I've met people that work in government that see free speech as like an inconvenience. I know I've met people who work in government that see democracy as like a talking point, not as like a legitimate thing to defend with your fucking life. And the only reason that people don't have a real understanding of free speech and democracy is because you've never lived in anywhere that didn't have those things. You just take it for granted. If you actually understand how quick it can be taken away from you and how quick society can shift in the blink of an eye, you don't play around with these things. You allow real conversations, you allow full discourse. And it just seems like when a certain side is desperate, when an animal is wounded and backed into a corner, it will it will do the most heinous things, okay, to try to defend its life. So we're seeing that in real time. Not good. The Trump and Elon convo, yeah, there was some issues, and honestly, I want to say that the technical issues were on purpose because they did do a scaling test before before they got on to make sure that the servers could handle the scale. And I understand there was a DWS attack, which was apparently some kind of software attack to stop the signal and kind of disrupt the scalability of the stream. Now, who would want to do that? Probably the government. One, that would be a pretty big one. The EU might try. Basically, any group that hates Elon and Trump because they represent the end of their campaign, their 40-year campaign of destroying the world, and Trump and Elon kind of represent the end of that era. Um, they'd probably want to get in the way, right? They'd probably want that stream to go away. So if it was on purpose, it's absolutely genius because it got everyone talking about it. The demand kept going crazy, the headlines kept going crazy. But imagine you have the two most important humans on Earth talking, and all they can talk about is technical issues. What did the Fed say about inflation? The Fed said that inflation is finally back under control because we're at 2.9% and the rate cuts are coming, baby. Just like Paul Revere. The British are coming. The British are coming. That's Jerome Powell. Except he's talking about the rate cuts are coming. The rate cuts are coming. You feel what I'm saying? That's what we're doing. He's Paul Revere, right? That's what the Fed said. Sign up for the last masterclass. Oh yeah. Support that memo. Go ahead and pin that. Big deal. How do I get started with learning fundamentals? We have an incredible fundamentals course on our website that covers everything from the introduction of economics and markets, how central banks work, mastering econ, market mechanics. So basically, like how markets move, um, the forces behind price movements, building a thesis. So how to understand and build a thesis for where the markets are going to go over the next 6, 12, 18 months. How to trade news, mostly FOMC. This is the one that we covered on, and of course, final exam. Um, Let me see if there's any of these I can give you guys a sneak peek on, because a lot of people don't really understand the content that we have, but our content, I would have to say, is the best out there by far, but we just don't do enough sneak peeks here. So I'll give you guys in the course itself, I give you guys the sources of data that I use for all these things. And these are the trusted sources that we've been using since back in my bank days. St. Louis Fed, the Bureau of Economic Analysis, and which data to really look for on these websites. So I'll use like, let's say the BLS, the Bureau of Labor Statistics. I'll use them for any jobs related data. So the quits rate, the JOLTS jobs report, employment, CPI, PPI, NFP. The Bureau of Economic Analysis, that's where we go. The producer, I just jacked that up. OD. PCE, CPI, GDP, balance of trade, more, you'll basically just get more internationally relevant and independent data there. The National Bureau of Economic Research, they do everything with the business cycles and they announce recessions, kind of tell you where we are in the greater business cycle. Central bank data, you can just get it directly from those central bank websites. We have the IMF for certain data, Department of Labor, Treasury, and Census. And then we have the international central bank data sites. Agency releases. So ISM, the Institute for Supply Management is for manufacturing. You'll want to use ADP. That's for anything that has to do with labor. Jolt, Census, Conference Board, NAR. Basically, where to find stuff, where to get the answers for stuff. Okay, not going to go too much into this because obviously people are going to screenshot and whatnot, but yeah. Stop Hunt says go back to the Middle East. I would love to, and we actually are this November, November 20th to the 22nd, heading back to Dubai for the #1 conference in the world for traders, investors, and entrepreneurs. Stop Hunt, we'll see you there. November 20th, make sure to grab your tickets. Make sure to grab your tickets before it's too late. We have incredible speakers. The #1 most famous trader on Wall Street, the Einstein of Wall Street, Peter Tuchman himself, will be the opening speaker this year. Highly looking forward to this. Dr. Richard Olson, the founder of Oanda, the #1 Forex brokerage in the world, will be coming to speak and talking about the updates in the Forex space. We have Bob Elliott, the former head of investments and the head of Ray Dalio's personal investment team, the guy who did Ray Dalio's investments, insanity. We have companies like KuCoin, Kraken, Bybit, Gate.io, and then potentially Crypto.com coming to speak as well. Apex Trader Funding, Top Step. We have all of the biggest brands coming to speak and really looking forward to it. Put a 1 in the chat if you guys are looking forward to seeing Apex and Top Step. They will not be sharing the stage together. Apparently, that's not going to happen. Unfortunate. But an independent panel with both, separately. Who would want to see that panel? Put a 1 in the chat if you guys are looking forward to seeing those, and I'll make sure to relay it to their teams. The trading challenge is going to be by far the best one we've ever had. FX Replay, shout out to them. If you guys have not downloaded FX Replay or signed up, make sure to head over to fxreplay.com. They are our partners for the trading challenge. When they say the best backtesting software in the world, I mean it. You can start your 5-day free trial right on their website. And of course, the best part of FX Replay is that you can get down to the 1-minute chart or 30-second chart or even the 1-second chart. They let you input costs like fees and commissions into your backtesting to get a more realistic feel. It has more realistic trading conditions than some of the other backtesting softwares you may have used. And they have data dating back 5-10 years plus. So you're not limited to the amount of data that you can use. So ladies and gentlemen, make sure to go and sign up for FX Replay. And if you guys are looking forward to the trading challenge at the summit, if you can't make it to this year's FX Summit, we may have an opportunity for everyone to get involved, from home. And you guys can still compete for the grand prizes. And we're going to have a leaderboard for this backtesting challenge. So really looking forward to this at the FX Summit. That's going to be the highlight, in my opinion. We have a lot of big prop firms coming as well. The biggest crypto companies, some of the biggest brokerages, head of FX trading, former head of FX trading at Barclays. It's going to get crazy here, people. 40 years of experience in the New York Stock Exchange, brokers and market makers from the New York Stock Exchange and the CME, the Chicago Mercantile Exchange. How are we pulling this off? I don't know. Actually, I do know. This is God did. And also because the industry needed this. No one was going to basically take the initiative, put up the money and the cost to make this happen, and we did. And I'm glad that we did, because now the industry is starting to come together. We're starting to grow, and we're starting to get connected with the biggest institutions. And so the startup companies that we all know and love in our FX space are going to basically, they're all going to get better by the standards being raised, being around all these institutional companies. And I'm just looking forward to it. The next upcoming event that we have, ladies and gentlemen, is our event in Bogota and Medellin. If you guys are in either of those, make sure to come out to these free events They're not going to be free for everyone, but if you guys get your tickets through us, they'll be 100% free. Free workshop. It's going to be about 800 people in Bogota and about 700 people in Medellin. Okay. We're going to have all the speakers will be Spanish, or they will speak Spanish. I'll say a few words. I'll have a translator as well, which I'm looking forward to. And I just want to see you guys out there. If there's any Chart Addicts members out there in Medellin or Bogota, or even in Cali, because we might be out there as well, make sure to reach out to us, and we're going to set up like a little small mastermind group for this. Okay? The world tour starts on the 31st of August, people. We got about 16 days until history begins. We're going to be doing Colombia tour, setting the foundation for the Latin American conference, and then we're going to be hitting Europe, skipping Dublin on the tour, sad face emoji. We're going to be hitting Liverpool, Manchester, London, depending on how the UK's. Everyone says you guys should be careful going to Lebanon and the Middle East for some of these workshop events. People, y'all seeing what's happening in Paris and the UK? I'm scared for my life going out there. All right, let me turn on my camera again just to drive this point home. I know I'm eloquently well spoken. I have very great articulation in my English, probably top 1% you've ever heard in your life. But look at the beard in pristine condition, right? I'll be walking down the street. They won't even know which side I'm on. They'll just see me. And then they'll find out I'm American. They'll be like, oh, he's a fucking Yank. Even worse. Now I got real problems. You guys understand? That's why I can't really go to the UK. We're still thinking it's September 14th. We're a month away from hitting the UK, and we still don't know if we can go. All right. Besides that, we still have Lisbon, Portugal on the tour. We have Madrid, Spain, and Barcelona. All right. I will also be in Marbella for a few days because your boy needs some time in the sun. Okay. So if you guys are in any of those cities, please make sure to head over to the website and RSVP to the specific city that you're going to be attending, just so we know that you're there. Would love to see everyone out at those events. Okay, beautiful, beautiful. Done deal. Doesn't look like there's a lot of questions. Looks like you guys are just waiting for me to say something else, which means it's my time to go. Great seeing you guys this morning. Members, the market's already gone, but you guys know what I say all the time. If the market has not hit our entry, what does that mean? Right? It means the market's wrong, not my entry, right? The market's just doing its thing right now. But in 2 days, well, that's going to be Saturday. Tomorrow, when the market consolidates overnight, right? And then tomorrow starts to drop over London. And then in New York hits a quick retest. And then we get a perfect entry. And everyone's like, how did we catch this entry? When for an hour and a half, the trade's been sitting in front of you, just know that I told you so. And I will not be pulling up the receipts next time because I already did it now in advance. That's called foresight. And that's why caffeine's great, because now I can see the future. All right. Everyone's like, oh, you can't predict markets, Roy. This guy's so arrogant. No, you can't predict markets. I can. Check the streams. All the receipts are there. I'm going to catch you guys later tomorrow morning. Happy and safe trading and crush it. Peace. All right. Members, I'm insufferable. This is what you signed up for, okay?